And it's easy to get caught up in wanting to build this legacy and thinking we're going to build this big financial legacy. But you're right. I mean, people aren't going to remember you as much for the money that you made, as far as they are going to remember the impact that you made. Hello, and welcome to Pillars of Wealth Creation, where we talk about creating financial success with a special focus on business and real estate. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. Now, let's get to it. Hey, real quick before we get started, first of all, I wanted to thank everybody for joining us on the show and for listening. To all my loyal listeners, I really appreciate you, continuing to listen and support the show. If you can go on to iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, wherever you listen, and subscribe to the show, that would be fantastic. Spread the word too. I'd love to, have this reach more and more people. So if you could share it on social media or and just talk about it to other people, that would be fantastic. And the last thing is, if you can go onto iTunes and give us a rating review, hopefully 5 stars, that would be great as well. It just helps us spread the word more, and it helps us continue to get really good guests on the show. We've had some fantastic guests, and I just want to be able to continue to bring fantastic value to you. Go onto our Facebook page too, Pillars of Wealth Facebook page, and I'd like to hear from you as a listener of what you're doing in business, what you've got going on, what you are maybe struggling with or being successful with, and then what we can do on the show to help push you to that next level. Maybe questions we can ask our guests, maybe guests that we can get on the show to talk about certain topics, certain things that are really you're needing some extra support with. So provide for us some feedback on Facebook, and you can also share this out on social media. That would be fantastic as well. I appreciate it. I appreciate you being a either new listener or a loyal listener. I definitely appreciate it, and we will get started with the show.
Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Hump Day Hustle, the show where we focus on business and real estate as our core pillars of wealth creation. My name is John Stiles with Bridge Realty, and I'm excited for another great episode. Today, we're going to be talking about leaving a legacy, which I think is a great follow-up to our conversation last week about dying.
Yeah. We could talk about dying and leaving a legacy, which is also kind of thinking about dying, right?
Yep.
We're all about death this month.
So, yeah. Well, Todd, how you doing? Did you have a good Mother's Day?
I did. Yeah, we didn't do too much. My wife, I don't know. I can't ever tell. Does she really want to do a bunch of stuff for Mother's Day? Does she want us to really take full advantage of Mother's Day and spoil her and all that kind of stuff? Or is she telling the truth when she says, I don't really want to do much for Mother's Day. I'd rather get stuff done at home. So we did a little bit of both. We did our normal routine of going to church. And then after that, I took her out for breakfast with the kids. And then, we basically worked on the house and did quite a bit, cooked her dinner, hung out with the kids a little bit more, and took the kids to sports, of course, because it seems like that's our life. And so we didn't do anything too crazy, too special. But, obviously moms are, at least my mom and my wife, man, they make the world go round. So definitely to be celebrated.
Yep.
Did you guys do anything fun, John? Did you spoil your wife?
I don't actually, but just spoil her with love.
Yeah, there you go.
But we went down and saw my parents in Apple Valley and
okay,
with them in the afternoon. And of course, I had to show a property in the evening. So work never ends.
Yeah, business as usual, right? Yeah, people don't stop. Whether it's Mother's Day or anything else, it seems like people don't stop. They're always wanting to still do business.
Yep.
But, so that's all right.
This year was kind of neat, though. It was 6 years ago on Mother's Day, we had our third child. So Gabriel turned 6 years old on Mother's Day, so that was pretty neat.
Cool. Cool. Well, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's good. Anything new, John, that you want to cover before we get into our topic?
Not really. I think we can dive right into it. So,
Okay.
what was your kind of inspiration for thinking about leaving a legacy?
Yeah. Well, as I said, we went to church first thing in the morning, and that's what the pastor talked about was leaving a legacy. And of course, it was more on a religious basis. He didn't really talk too much about financial means, um, but it just got me thinking: what does it really mean to leave a legacy? And I think a lot of us would like to do that, especially those who uh, run and operate businesses. We always think, or at least I do, it would be really cool to have a business that continues through different generations. My wife works with a lot of different businesses, and we were just talking about a business the other day that they've been in business for over 200 years. So that's really cool. She works with that business. It's a smaller business, but they've been in business for well over 200 years. They've been in that location for over 200 years. And why it came up was I was talking about the value of their property. They own a lot of land, and I was talking about the value of their property and where they're located in the Twin Cities. That would be worth a lot of money. I said, do you ever look at as one of the owners, um, should we sell this piece of property and move our business 40 miles to the east or whatever away from the Twin Cities and reap the benefits of that? Because I guarantee they could sell their land right now and buy probably 10 times or more the property for the amount of money they would get for that land. So anyway, so we were talking about that. That's how we were talking about these businesses that were been around forever, and it just makes you think, okay, I'd love to have that type of business as well. Start this business that's around forever. My parents didn't own businesses. Their parents didn't own businesses. And so now you've got your own business that you start. It's like, that would be really cool if that could continue on through generations.
Yeah, yeah, cool. Well, maybe before we do dive deep into the financial and business aspect of it, what were some of the religious or spiritual takeaways from the sermon? Because I think that's a good place to start. If we just are leaving a bunch of money,
Right.
but there's nothing substantive behind that, nobody, oh yeah, that guy, he left us a bunch of money, but he was a Scrooge, and he was the worst, and we're sure glad he's gone. You know, um, that's not going to be beneficial either.
Right, right. And so that's what a lot of it was talking about, whether you're Christian or not. I think this pertains to really everybody, is wanting to leave more of a legacy based on who you are and who you become, and wanting to, your legacy is not only financial, as you mentioned. It's also, it can be spiritual, based on the beliefs that you have. It can also be based on some of the rituals or whatever you want to call them, uh, that you put into the family, and it's also um, a behavioral thing too. And so your heirs will see the type of person you were, the amount of money that you gave, but the amount of time that you also gave. If you help spearhead or maybe run or are a big part of an organization or a charity, that can be leaving a legacy in itself. I mean, think of some of the famous people out there that have maybe not left a lot of money, but have left a legacy. They're remembered forever, and they didn't necessarily change anybody financially. They didn't leave a bunch of money behind. I mean, you can look at like this, the leaders of some of the religions, like Jesus, like um, Muhammad, some of those leaders, and obviously they left a legacy bigger than really anybody else, but they left massive legacies. But even so, there's people. I remember Mother Teresa, and there's a lot of people that we can think of that have left massive legacies, and it's not all financial.
Yep. You know, I'm not Catholic, but Mother Teresa is one of the ones that comes to mind. She was just giving of herself, helping people that were forgotten about and that were dying, and she has a great legacy of giving of herself. And then speaking of mothers and Mother's Day,
There you go.
our mothers have made a lot of sacrifices to help us out throughout our lives. So,
Yep.
to me, first thing I think about with legacy is what what will my kids think about me? Was I around for them, or was I just this person that was always off at work and never really there for them? So that's one of the main things I think about.
Yep. And it's easy to get caught up in wanting to build this legacy and thinking we're going to build this big financial legacy. But you're right. I mean, people aren't going to remember you as much for the money that you made, as far as they are going to remember the impact that you made,
Mhm.
positive, negative, or forgotten. So it's great to leave a financial legacy because that can help generations, right? That can really make a positive impact on the generations. But if you're thought of as in a negative light because maybe you were never around, or maybe you were the Scrooge, or whatever it is, uh, that's actually doing nobody any good, because nobody will want necessarily that money, or it's kind of, I don't know, maybe dirty money, or tainted money, I guess. Especially if you did it in bad ways, of course. But if you can leave that legacy where people are proud of you, proud to say they're, you know, a Stiles or a Dexheimer or whatever, then that's the type of legacy that I want to leave, and that's what they're, the pastor talked about at church, is leaving that legacy where people will remember you in a positive light, and the changes that you brought about were, positive, and affecting people, um, in this particular case, in God's way. So,
Yeah.
hey, we're going to take a quick break, and I want to mention a few things. First of all, I've been doing some coaching, and I want to continue to kind of expand that slowly, and take on a few clients. And up until recently, I didn't really believe in coaching, and taking courses and stuff like that. But I recently, or I shouldn't say recently, it's been a few years now, hired a coach, and saw immediate results, and have been very happy with it, and decided, as my teaching background, I wanted to do some coaching myself and help other people get the results that I was able to achieve. And so if you're at that point where you think that's the spot for you, or maybe you just want to explore if it's right for you, reach out to me. I'd have a free discovery call with you. We want to make sure that it is the right step for you to take. There might be other things that you can do to get success, and coaching might not be it. But let's have that discovery call to find out if that is the step that you need to take. So it can really make a major impact in your business and get you to that next level. The other thing is John Stiles. He's on this show every single week with me on the Hump Day Hustle. And John Stiles is a real estate agent in Minnesota, and he will help you find a good investment property. John is very knowledgeable and can help you find an investment property. It can also help you sell your investment property. So reach out to John Stiles with Bridge Realty and connect with him. He'll also, consult with you and make sure you guys are the right fit. So give him a call if you're in Minnesota. Reach out to him. He'd love to help as well. Back to the show.
Okay, well, and then so let's apply this to finances then in business. So what do you think are the key things to keep in mind for business in a legacy there?
Yeah, well, a couple things. I mean, it goes back to same of what we've talked about, right? Is what you're doing going to be positively affecting people, right? Because that's the most important thing. We can all make a ton of money, and if it's not positively affecting people, is it really money that we want to be making? So, is what you're doing positively making a difference and a change? If you're an apartment guy like me, and you're buying these apartment buildings, is what you're doing making a positive difference in your tenants' lives and the people that are working for you and for your company's lives? When I look at a property, I want to do value add, but one of the reasons why I want to do value add is because I want to take properties that are not nearly in as good of livable condition as what they otherwise should be. And I want to take those properties and change them into a positive, good property to positively affect the tenants that are living there. So when I look at my value adds, a typical value add is probably more deeper value add than what a lot of people are doing. A lot of people are taking an already really nice property and making it even nicer, where I'm taking typically a property that's not very nice and making it nice. And I think the reason why that draws to me is because of the mission of what I want to do is positively affect people's lives. Now, I'm not saying that people that are doing it the other way are not positively affecting people's lives. Don't get me wrong, but that's just where I'm drawn to. And then so are you making that positive difference? I think that's a big thing. So number two is, of course, when we're talking about business, are you building a business that can sustain and last without you around? And I think that's going to be a really, really important key to it, because we don't want to build this business that requires us to be a slave to the business in order just to maintain it, because nobody's going to want to take that over. If everybody sees you as a slave to the business, and yeah, maybe it makes a lot of money, but if you're a complete slave to the business and that's the only way it can maintain, then it doesn't make sense. Now, if somebody wants to take it over and be a slave to the business in order for it to grow, fine, that's different. But if it's just to maintain what you already have, nobody's going to want that business. So what type of business are you building? Are you building a business that can sustain in the future and grow? Or are you building a business that's going to die as soon as you die?
Yeah, very important. Going back to your first point there, I think housing and where people live is very significant in people's lives. You know, people can have a very stable housing environment and, you know, something that's like free of pests, something where the plumbing works, the electrical works, where the community that's also living there is um, positive. You don't hear yelling and all sorts of crazy stuff going on in the building. So, as you're improving the building and the tenant base there, you're improving the experience and therefore you're improving people's lives.
Yeah.
So,
And the community and your employees have just a better environment to be around. And then what does your business do to give back to? I think that's another important thing. What's your business actually doing to improve and better the community? Or is it just, are you only in it for yourself? And so that's, you know, also again, to, I guess, to the main point, what's your business in it for? Is it just to make money, or is it to make a positive impact?
yeah, for sure. And then going ahead with your second point there, that the business could last and continue on after you're gone. I think that's huge because right there, if you're gone and the business is dying or has to be sold and split up, because you're gone. I mean, that's like the new memory that people have. Oh yeah, it was great when he was around, but now, ugh, what a mess. You know.
Yeah, the mess that he or she left, and when people think of you, is that what they're thinking of? Oh man, yeah, when grandpa died, there was such a mess that we had to clean up. And he left. Yeah, sure, there was a lot of money, but man, it was just a nightmare. We had to spend so much time in court, and everybody fought, and now nobody's friends with each other, and nobody likes each other, and blah blah blah. Did you leave that type of business, or did you leave a business that really can continue or easily be sold, whatever, either way? But did you leave a business where people can be proud of it, and it's not going to cause a divide in a family?
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. Um, that's all I got, John. I don't know if you have any more thoughts on leaving a legacy.
I think that's all I've got for this morning. It'd be great if we can have our listeners chime in on this and see, what thoughts have they put into leaving a legacy, spiritually, financially, in the business, in the family. What things have they put into place already to make sure that legacy continues on?
Yeah, I think a lot of businesses, especially as they get larger, will start foundations, or a lot of people will start foundations and or charities, and that way their name continues to live on, and the family continues to reap the benefits of the charity work, which is a very powerful, self, um, whatever self. I don't even know the word for it, but it's very positive, obviously, to your spirit, is when you're giving back to people. Not only are you helping others, which is great, but it's also very positive onto yourself as well. So I think a lot of people that are building businesses not only want to build these big, powerful businesses that can continue on, but they also want to build something more than that. And that's where I would like to be when I die, whenever that is. I would love to have people remember me, and my, not only my children, but my great grandchildren, my great great grandchildren, remember, what I was, the positive that I made on this earth.
Yeah, and what you stood for.
What I stood for. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Cool. Well, that's all I got, man. We'll
All right.
talk to you next time.
Yeah. To our guests and viewers, go ahead and comment below on the YouTube video, or you can go ahead and comment on our Facebook page. We'd love to get your input and interaction there. And while you're at it, of course, give us a rating and review on iTunes.
Cool. Thanks, John. Make every day Saturday, man.
All right, you too.
Hey, thanks for listening to the show. Couple things before we go. Again, go on to our Facebook page, Pillars of Wealth. We'd love to have you on there. Go on to iTunes, give us a rating and review, and subscribe to the show. Also, don't forget, reach out to me if you want any help with potentially growing your business, and reach out to John Stiles to help you buy or sell real estate. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it. Have a fantastic the rest of the day. And as I say, make every day a Saturday.